The answer that shook the stars. The underground hall still glowed faintly, the star map hovering in the air like fireflies frozen in motion. The council guards lay scattered, groaning, too afraid to rise again. The elderly alien woman clutched her robe, her eyes wide with awe and fear. The human stood in the center, the ring's light fading slowly around his hand. His chest rose and fell sharply, but his eyes were steady, sharp as steel. The silence that followed was heavy, pressing, on every corner of the chamber. Then a new voice filled the air, deep, cold. It came from the walls themselves. The council is watching. The guards stiffened, bowing their heads. The air shimmered, and above the cracked table, the hollow projections of the council appeared once more. Their faces, alien, stern, and cruel, watched him like hunters cornering prey. One spoke, its voice like thunder. Human, you cannot escape what you carry. That ring belongs to the council. Hand it over, and we may grant you life. The woman stepped forward quickly. No, it does not belong to you. It never did. But the council ignored her. Their glowing eyes fixed only on the human. The human lifted his hand slowly. The ring pulsed faintly, answering his call. He met their gaze without fear. You ask me where I got it. You demand to know who gave it to me. The chamber grew colder. The council leaned closer, their voices overlapping. Yes, speak, tell us. The human's voice was steady, calm, but it carried across the hall like a blade cutting through the dark. It was given to me by one of your own. A warrior you swore never existed, a voice you tried to erase. He trusted me when you would not, and his trust is stronger than your lies. The woman gasped softly. The words cut through her heart. She had waited her whole life to hear someone speak them aloud. The council shifted in anger. Their shadows flickered, their voices hissed. Lies. Fabrications. We erased him. He was nothing. The human's eyes burned with quiet defiance. If he was nothing, then why does his ring burn your shadows? If he was nothing, then why does his memory rise even now? You erased his name from stone, but you could not erase it from blood. His trust lives on in me. The hall trembled with their fury. Guards scrambled to their feet, but fear kept them from moving closer. The woman covered her mouth with trembling hands, tears welling in her eyes. For the first time, the council's silence cracked. Their power, their certainty, faltered. The human lowered his hand slightly, his voice soft but sharp. You asked where I got the ring. Now you know. It came from the one you feared most, not because of his strength, but because he gave hope, and you cannot erase that. The old woman's knees buckled. She sank to the floor, overwhelmed. It is true. It was always true. The council roared with fury. Enough! You will be destroyed before the lie spreads further. But even as they spoke, the star map above the table shifted, glowing brighter. The hidden system blazed in light, clear and undeniable. Every guard, every council eye saw it. The secret they had buried for centuries now shone openly. The human turned his gaze upward, calm even in the storm. You tried to bury the past, but the ring has already chosen. The truth is free. The hollow projections flickered, their images breaking as the power of the ring cut through them. The council's voices twisted into static. The chamber shook violently, dust falling from the ceiling. The guards stumbled back, their discipline broken. Fear filled their faces. Some dropped their weapons. Others fled into the tunnels, unwilling to fight anymore. The old woman looked up at the human, her voice trembling. You shook them. You shook the council itself. The human stepped to her side, helping her rise. His voice was quiet but firm. Not me. The truth did. Together they left the chamber as the map continued to glow behind them, burning like a beacon for anyone brave enough to see. When they emerged back into the city streets, the marketplace was no longer the same. Whispers rushed through the crowd of the human, the ring, and the light that shook even the council's voices. The human pulled his hood over his head, the ring hidden once more. But his words lingered in the air, carried by those who had heard. The council had asked him a simple question, and his answer had shaken the stars. The council's demand. The courtyard filled with light from the ring, blinding for a moment. The council guards froze as the glow pushed them back, their weapons shaking in their hands. The human stood tall in the center, his fist raised, the ring burning like a star. Then, as the light dimmed, the guards gathered themselves again. Their leader growled, his sharp teeth catching the faint glow. "Enough tricks. You will come with us, human. The council demands it." The elderly alien woman gasped, stepping in front of the human. Her frail body shook, but her voice was firm. "He carries the ring of the warrior. You cannot take him as if he were nothing." The leader's eyes narrowed. "Old one, you dare speak against the council? You know what happens to those who defy us." Her voice cracked but did not falter. "I have lived long enough to see their lies, and now I see the truth again. This human carries it in his hand." The leader sneered and raised his weapon. "Then you will watch him fall as the others did." Before he could strike, the human's voice cut through the air, calm but strong. "No. If the council wants me, let them speak to me themselves. I will not be dragged like a thief in the night." The guards hesitated. The leader studied him, then slowly lowered his weapon. "Very well. You want their voice? You will have it." With a signal, the guards surrounded him. The woman tried to protest, but the human placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "It's all right. This is the path we were already walking." Her eyes filled with fear. "They will kill you." "Or," he answered softly, "they will finally hear me." The guards marched them through the broken streets until they reached a tall structure at the edge of the city. Its walls were made of black stone, etched with the crest of the council. The doors opened with a hiss, revealing a chamber inside, vast and cold. In the center rose a platform, and above it floated a great hollow projection of the council itself. Shadows of alien faces, each different in shape, all watching with cold, merciless eyes. The guards forced the human to the center. The elderly woman followed, her steps weak but determined. One of the council voices boomed, deep and commanding. "Human, you carry what does not belong to you." The human looked up at the glowing faces. His voice did not waver. "If it never belonged to me, why does it answer to me?" Murmurs rippled among the council projections. Another voice spoke, sharper than the rest. "You do not understand what you carry. That ring is dangerous. It destroyed the warrior you praise. Surrender it, and you may leave alive." The old woman stepped forward, her voice trembling but defiant. "Lies. I saw the warrior fight with my own eyes. The ring was not his doom. It was his strength. You erased him because you feared what he stood for." The chamber fell silent. The council shadows shifted, their eyes narrowing. The human raised his hand, showing the ring. Its glow filled the room once again. "If you truly speak for justice, then tell me this. Why does a human stand here carrying the same symbol your history swore never existed? Why do your guards fear it more than they fear me?" For the first time, the council hesitated. Their silence spoke louder than their words. The leader's voice finally thundered. "You will surrender the ring, or you will die where you stand." The human's jaw tightened. His answer was steady, without fear. "Then I will die with it, because this ring was not meant to be hidden. It was meant to remind you that humans do not bow." The old woman gasped softly at his courage. She had expected him to resist, but not to speak so boldly in the very heart of their power. The council shadows shifted again, their faces twisting with anger. Weapons raised around the chamber, the guards ready to strike. The human stood firm, his eyes burning with quiet defiance, and then the ring pulsed once more. Light burst from it, brighter than before, sweeping across the chamber. For a brief moment the walls shook and the projections of the council flickered, their voices distorted. The old woman clutched her chest, her voice breaking. "It remembers. The ring remembers the truth." The guards faltered, some stepping back in fear, others holding tighter to their weapons. The council's voice roared in fury. Enough! If he will not surrender, then take him by force. The guard surged forward. The human turned to the woman, his voice calm even in the storm. Stay behind me. The ring's light glowed brighter, spilling across the floor like fire. The fight for survival had begun. The chase and the choice. The chamber exploded into chaos. The council guards surged forward, weapons gleaming, their heavy boots striking the floor like thunder. The ring's glow flared bright against the walls, throwing wild shadows. The human raised his hand and the ring pulsed again. A wave of light rippled outward, forcing the first line of guards to stumble back. Their armor sparked as the energy struck, throwing them off balance. The old woman clutched the side of the platform, her eyes wide. You cannot hold them forever. I don't need forever, the human answered sharply. I just need a way out. He seized her arm and pulled her toward a side passage. The guards roared in anger and charged again, their leader shouting orders. Blades of energy slashed through the air, striking the walls and spraying sparks. The Tia, human, ducked into the passage with the woman, the ring's glow lighting their way. Behind them, footsteps pounded, the chase beginning. The narrow halls echoed with the shouts of the guards. The woman gasped for breath, her frail legs struggling to keep up. The human glanced back, steady and calm even in the storm. Stay close, he said. If we separate, they'll tear us apart. They turned corner after corner, the old city's tunnels winding endlessly. The walls were carved with ancient markings, some glowing faintly as the ring's light touched them. The human realized with a shock. They were responding. Symbols flared alive as he passed, revealing a path hidden for centuries. The woman saw it too. Her voice shook. It remembers him. It remembers the warrior. The guards closed in behind, their voices echoing closer. Blades clashed against stone, breaking walls as they forced their way forward. The human led her deeper, until they entered a vast underground hall. Broken statues stood on each side, their faces long eroded. At the center, a cracked stone table waited, its surface etched with the same symbols as the ring. The human slowed, his breath sharp. The ring pulsed brighter, brighter until its glow matched the carvings. A low hum filled the air like the chamber itself was alive. The woman's eyes widened. It is a map, a memory of what they tried to erase. The human placed his hand on the table. The carvings lit up in response, lines of light spreading outward like rivers. A great image formed above the stone, stars, planets, roots stretching across the galaxy. He stared in awe. It's showing me something, a path. The woman trembled. The path to what? Before he could answer, the guards burst into the hall. Their leader pointed his blade. Enough games. Give me the ring, human, or watch this old one die. Human stepped forward, placing himself between her and the advancing soldiers. His voice was calm but unyielding. You've tried to erase the truth. You've buried it under lies. But the ring will not stay silent, and neither will I. The guards rushed forward. The human raised his hand once more, the ring flaring like a sun. The light struck the statues, and for a moment they seemed to move. Shadows of warriors long gone standing again, their figures etched in the glow. The guards faltered, fear flashing in their eyes. The woman whispered in awe, "The past rises to protect you." The leader snarled, "He is only one man! Kill him!" Blades cut through the air. The human ducked, his movements sharp and quick. He seized a fallen weapon from the ground and struck back, the ring's glow guiding his hand. Sparks lit the hall as steel clashed with steel. The woman crouched low, praying under her breath. She had seen many fall to the council's blades, but this human fought differently. He fought not only with strength, but with defiance that burned brighter than fear. Finally, the human forced the leader back, the ring glowing so bright it lit the entire hall. He shouted over the chaos, "This ends with me, not with chains. With choice." The chamber shook as the table's map flared again. Stars shifted, forming one final mark, a hidden system locked away from the council's sight. The woman gasped, "It's real. The place the warrior wanted us to find. The guards hesitated, their faces uncertain. The leader growled in rage. Destroy him before the lie spreads. The human turned to the woman, his voice calm even as the guards advanced again. You wanted to know why I wear this ring. It's because someone long ago trusted that when the time came, a human would carry it forward. And I won't fail him. The ring flared one last time, bursting with light that threw the guards to the ground. Their weapons clattered, the hall shaking under the force. The human stood in the center, the light fading slowly. His chest rose and fell heavily. He looked at the woman, his voice steady. Now I know. The ring didn't come to me by accident. It came because it was waiting. The woman's eyes filled with tears. Then the choice is yours. Hide or rise. What will you do? He stared at the glowing map, his jaw set. I choose to rise. Shadows in the crowd. The footsteps echoed closer, heavy against the stone steps. The elderly alien woman's eyes widened, her voice breaking into a whisper. We must hide. Now. The human did not move. He stood near the table, the faint glow of the ring pulsing softly against his hand. His calm expression did not change, but his sharp eyes fixed on the doorway. The footsteps stopped just outside. Silence filled the chamber. Then the door creaked open. A tall alien figure stepped into the room. His skin was dark, his eyes narrow and glowing with cold light. His clothing carried the markings of the council, a silver band across the chest and a crest etched into his shoulder. His voice was deep and sharp. You should not be here, old one, the alien said, his gaze moving past the woman and locking on the human. And you, human, should not wear what is forbidden. The alien woman trembled. She whispered, They have come already. The human's voice was steady. So it seems. The council agent's eyes narrowed. Give me the ring. The woman stepped between them quickly. No, you do not understand what this means. The agent's cold stare shifted to her. I understand well enough. That relic should not exist. To see it on a human's hand is a danger. If he resists, I will kill him. The human's jaw tightened, but he remained calm. His voice was low. Then you will have to try. The agent stepped forward, his hand reaching for a weapon hidden in his cloak. But before he could act, the ring pulsed brighter. A wave of faint light spread across the chamber, casting shadows against the walls. The agent froze, his expression breaking for just a second. Fear flickered in his eyes. The human saw it. You're afraid, he said quietly. The alien woman gasped. She had never seen a council soldier hesitate before. They were known for their cruelty, their confidence. But here, standing in front of the glow of the ring, the agent's hand trembled. He snarled to cover his weakness. That ring carries poison. It destroyed worlds. Do not believe it will protect you. The human raised his hand slightly, the ring glowing brighter in answer. Maybe not, but it will fight you. The agent's jaw tightened. His weapon finally left the cloak gleaming with sharp metal. He aimed it directly at the human's chest. The alien woman cried out, Stop! Please! But the human stepped forward, closing the distance instead of retreating. His voice was calm even in the face of danger. If the council fears this ring so much, then maybe it is not the danger. Maybe the danger is what it reveals about you. The words struck like fire. For a heartbeat, the agent faltered. His grip on the weapon shook. Then with a growl, he swung it forward. The human moved quickly, knocking the weapon aside with his arm. The blade cut the air, sparks flying as it struck the metal wall. In the same motion, the ring flared, light bursting across the chamber, like a flash of lightning. The agent staggered back, covering his eyes. His weapon clattered to the ground. The old woman grabbed the human's arm, pulling him toward a narrow exit at the back of the chamber. Come, we cannot fight them all. The human hesitated only a moment before nodding. Together they slipped through the narrow passage, the light of the ring fading behind them. They emerged into the marketplace once again. The crowd was thick, merchants calling out, children running, guards patrolling. But now, The human felt the weight of eyes on him. Too many eyes. The alien woman's voice shook. Word has spread already. The council's shadow is here. The human scanned the crowd. He saw them, figures standing too still, their gazes too sharp. Council watchers. Hidden among merchants and travelers, everywhere he turned they were there, watching, waiting. He lowered his voice. "We can't stay here." She nodded quickly, her hands trembling. "They will follow, they will not stop." The human's expression hardened. "Then we make them chase." He pulled the hood of his cloak over his head and stepped into the moving crowd. The woman hurried beside him, her heart racing. Around them, whispers spread quickly, merchants muttering about the glow they had seen, about the human carrying something forbidden. The crowd thickened. The watchers moved closer, and then out of the corner of his eye the human saw one of them. A tall figure with pale skin and a sharp blade hidden at his side, moving through the crowd toward him. Another figure stepped from the opposite side, cutting off the path. They were surrounded. The woman's voice was a whisper of fear. "They will not let you leave. They will take the ring, even if they must tear it from your hand." The human's eyes sharpened. His hand brushed against the ring, and once again it pulsed faintly with light. He turned his head toward her, his voice calm but firm. "Then it is time they learn why it was given to me." The hidden history. The marketplace boiled with noise, but for the human it all faded into a dull hum. His eyes stayed on the watchers closing in, their steps slow but certain. The elderly alien woman clutched his arm, her voice tight with fear. "They won't stop now," she whispered. "The ring has shown itself. They will hunt us until the end." The human pulled her through the crowd, weaving between stalls and merchants. The watchers followed, silent as shadows. Finally, he turned sharply into a side alley, the woman stumbling behind him. They ran until the market's sounds grew faint. At last, they stopped in a hidden courtyard, half broken, with walls covered in old carvings. The air was still here, heavy with dust and memory. The woman leaned against the wall, breathing hard. The human turned to her, his eyes sharp. "You said the council erased the history. You said they destroyed the names. Tell me the truth. Who did this ring belong to?" Her lips pressed tightly. Fear flickered in her old eyes. "If I tell you, you will not live to see another sunrise." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "They already want me dead. The difference now is that I want to know why." The woman closed her eyes, her hands trembling as if they carried the weight of centuries. Finally she spoke, her voice soft, carrying both pain and pride. "There was a warrior once, long before your people sailed the stars. He was not like the others. He did not kneel before the council. He believed their rule was a chain, and he swore to break it. His name was spoken with hope by many, but it became a curse when they hunted him." Her gaze fell on the human's hand. That ring was his, a mark of his defiance. He carried it into battle, and those who fought beside him swore they saw it glow with a light that gave them courage. But the council crushed his rebellion. They burned his records, silenced his allies, and swore the ring was lost. The human listened, his expression calm but steady. "And yet here it is," her voice cracked. "Yes, here it is. On your hand." She stepped closer, her eyes filled with both wonder and dread. "You must understand. This warrior, he was not alone. Beside him fought someone no one expected, a being the council mocked and despised, a human." The man froze, his breath caught in his chest. "A human?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, a man from your world. When the council erased the warrior's name, they erased his too. They swore no human had ever stood with them, no human had ever fought. But I was there. I saw it. A human carried the ring when the warrior fell. He vanished after that battle, and so did the ring." Her eyes trembled as they met his. "And now you wear it. Do you not see? It has returned to its own bloodline. The human's jaw tightened. For the first time, the calm mask on his face cracked, showing a flicker of shock. He looked down at the ring, at the strange glow pulsing faintly against his skin. "So this is no accident," he whispered. "It was always meant to find me." The woman's voice grew urgent. "That is why they fear you, not just because of the ring, but because of what it means. Proof that their lies cannot last forever. Proof that humans once stood as equals in the fight." Silence filled the courtyard. The human's mind burned with questions, but before he could speak, the sound of movement echoed through the broken walls. Shadows shifted, growing closer. The woman's face paled. "They've tracked us." The human's hand tightened into a fist. "Let them come." She grabbed his arm desperately. "No, you don't understand. This is not one watcher. This is the Council's guard. If they catch you, the ring will be lost forever." The footsteps grew louder, sharp and steady. The human turned, his eyes narrowing at the dark shapes approaching the courtyard. The ring pulsed brighter, casting faint light across the broken stone. He raised his hand slowly, and the glow spread, pushing back the shadows. The council guards stopped at the edge of the courtyard. Their leader, tall and armored, stepped forward. His voice carried authority. "Human," he called, "surrender the ring. It belongs to no one but the council." The human's voice was calm but sharp. "If it truly belonged to you, you wouldn't fear it so much." The leader's eyes narrowed. "You have no idea what you carry. That ring is not hope. It is a weapon that destroyed its own kind." The old woman shook her head, whispering, "Lies, always lies." The guards stepped closer, weapons in hand. The human lifted the ring higher, its glow intensifying. "Then let us test the truth," he said firmly. The courtyard filled with light. The guards froze, shadows twisting across the walls. For a brief moment, the glow revealed something hidden, an ancient carving etched into the stone, showing the warrior, the ring, and beside him, a human. The woman gasped, covering her mouth. "It's real. The history is real." The guards hesitated, but their leader growled, "Take it from him." And, as they charged, the ring flared brighter than ever before. The question. The marketplace was alive with sound. Voices of different species mixed together, sharp alien tones, deep growls, and the steady hum of trade. The air smelled of spices, oil, and metal. Merchants called out their prices, selling crystals, tools, food, and things that had no name in any human tongue. Among the crowd walked a human traveler. His clothes were simple, worn from long journeys, and a bag hung over his shoulder. He looked tired, but his eyes were sharp, always moving. Many aliens glanced at him with curiosity, some with distrust. Humans were still strangers in these parts of the galaxy. But what caught the attention of one pair of eyes was not the man himself. It was the ring on his hand. An elderly alien woman sat by a stall selling old relics. Her skin was pale blue, marked with silver lines that glowed faintly. Her eyes were deep and heavy, carrying the weight of centuries. She leaned forward when she saw the human pass, her breath catching. Her gaze locked on the ring, a band of dark metal, carved with symbols that shimmered like stars. For a moment her hands trembled. She whispered to herself, "Impossible." The human stopped at another stall, looking over some food wrapped in leaves. The alien woman rose slowly, her steps unsteady. She moved through the crowd, her eyes never leaving the ring. When she reached him, she touched his arm gently. The human turned, surprised. He looked down at the frail figure before him. "Yes?" Her voice shook. Where did you get that ring?" The marketplace seemed to grow quieter around them. The human glanced at his hand, at the band resting against his skin. For a moment he said nothing. Then he gave a small smile, but his eyes carried something hidden. "Why?" he asked softly. "Does it mean something to you?" The alien woman's face tightened. Her lips trembled as she spoke. "That ring should not exist. It belonged to those who defied the council. It was lost, long before your kind reached the stars. The human studied her carefully. His expression did not change, but his fingers curled slightly around the ring. "You're wrong," he said quietly. "It was given to me." Her voice grew urgent. "By who?" The man leaned closer, his tone calm, but steady. "By someone. Your kind swore was only a myth." The words struck her like a blade. She staggered back, her eyes wide, her breath sharp. For a moment, she could not speak. Her entire body shook with disbelief. Around them, a few merchants watched curiously, but none understood the meaning of their words. To them it was only a strange human and an old woman arguing over a piece of jewelry. But to her it was more than that. It was a ghost returned from the past. Her voice was almost a whisper. "Do you understand what you carry? That ring is not a trinket. It is a key and a curse. If others see it, they will come for you." The human tilted his head, studying her reaction. His calm smile did not fade, but his eyes were sharp as blades. "I know," he said. The alien woman froze. The certainty in his voice unsettled her more than the ring itself. "You know?" she repeated. "Yes," he answered. "And that's why I cannot give it up." For a moment, silence stretched between them, heavy and sharp. The crowd around them moved as normal. But to the old woman, the marketplace felt like it had turned into a storm. Her hand reached for his arm again, but he stepped back. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Child, you do not understand. That ring was carried by the one who stood against the council. They hunted him. They erased his name from history. They said no human ever fought beside him. And yet," she swallowed, her throat dry. "Yet, you wear it." The human's eyes softened. For just a moment, his voice was quiet, but every word was firm. "It was his gift," he said, "and his burden. Now it is mine." The old woman's breath shook. She could not answer. Her lips parted, but no sound came. For the first time in many years, she was speechless. The human looked past her, scanning the crowd. His sharp eyes caught something. A figure watching from the shadows. Too still, too focused. He turned back to her and leaned close. "You're right," he said. "They will come. For me. But when they do, I'll be ready." He adjusted the bag on his shoulder and stepped away, disappearing into the moving crowd. The alien woman stood frozen, her chest heavy, her thoughts broken. The image of the ring burned in her mind, a relic of rebellion, a symbol of defiance. A ghost returned, and now worn by a human who spoke with the same calm certainty as the one she thought lost forever. Whispers of the past, the elderly alien woman, did not return to her stall. Her trembling hands pulled at the folds of her robe as she followed the human through the crowded market. The memory of the ring burned in her mind. Each step made her heart pound harder. Finally, when they reached a quieter corner beneath the shadow of an old archway, she stopped him. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Please, you cannot walk here so carelessly. Not with that ring." The human turned to face her. His calm eyes studied her fear. "You know what it means, don't you?" She swallowed hard, her voice low. "I know more than most, but less than I wish. That ring, it is a wound in history. A reminder of those who stood against the council. They swore it was destroyed. To see it again, on your hand." She shook her head, her voice breaking. "It is like seeing a ghost." The man remained silent for a moment. His fingers brushed against the ring as though testing its weight. "It wasn't destroyed. It was passed on. To me." Her eyes widened. "How? Who gave it to you?" The human hesitated, his jaw tightening. He gave her only fragments, pieces of truth wrapped in mystery. "I found it in the ruins of a battlefield. A place your people never wanted remembered. There was a name carved into the stone. A name erased from every book. And when I touched the ring, I knew it was waiting." The alien woman gasped softly. Her voice dropped to a whisper. If that is true, then you carry more than metal. You carry a legacy of rebellion. The human's eyes narrowed. And that frightens you? It terrifies me, she admitted. Her hands shook as she gripped his arm. Do you not understand? The council will not allow such a symbol to rise again. They have eyes everywhere, even here. If word spreads, they will hunt you as they hunted him. The human's gaze moved past her, scanning the marketplace. The crowd went about their business, yet he felt the weight of unseen stares. Maybe they already know, he said softly. Her throat tightened. She pulled him closer, lowering her voice to a whisper. If you truly wish to live, you must hide it. Take off the ring. Bury it where no one can find it. But he shook his head slowly. No, this was not meant to be buried. It was meant to be carried forward. Her lips parted, but no words came. The quiet strength in his voice unsettled her more than the sight of the ring. For a long moment, she could only stare at him, caught between fear and awe. Finally, she whispered, Come with me. There is a place where we can speak safely. Not here. Too many ears. She guided him through narrow alleys, away from the heart of the marketplace. They passed under rusted gates and down stone steps carved long ago. At last they entered a small chamber lit by flickering lamps. The air smelled of dust and old paper. Shelves lined the walls, filled with brittle scrolls and broken relics. This was once a sanctuary, she explained. A place where those who questioned the council gathered. It has been abandoned for decades, but I still keep watch. I never thought I would need it again. The human looked around the chamber, his eyes resting on the shelves of forgotten history. And yet, here we are. She sat heavily on a chair, her hand still trembling. Her voice was low, almost a whisper. Long ago there was a warrior who carried that ring. He stood against the council when no one else dared. He believed the council's power was corrupt, and for a time others believed him. They followed. They fought. Her eyes darkened with memory. But the council crushed them. They erased every trace, burned the records, silenced the names. They swore no human had ever stood beside him. To see you wearing that ring now, she closed her eyes. It means their silence was a lie. The human leaned against the table, his voice steady. And lies always break in the end. The old woman opened her eyes and stared at him. You do not understand. If the council learns of this, they will kill you. And anyone who dares to stand with you. He held her gaze, unflinching. Then let them try. Her breath caught at his calm defiance. She had lived her whole life under fear of the council. To hear such words from a human, quiet but unwavering, made her heart tremble. Before she could speak again, a sound drifted into the chamber. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Her eyes widened. She rose quickly, her voice a whisper of dread. They found us. The human turned toward the doorway. His hand brushed against the ring, and for the first time it glowed faintly in the dim light.